Next spokesman, Maria Morris, is originally went to college up in Columbia in New York. She went to law school at Emory, and then she went, after a while, she went to work for the Southern Poverty Law Center. And she has seen these cases and these issues with the real problems and how they reflect what's happening to lives. But I want her to talk this time, and you're going to get a chance to talk some more in the second panel about where we got here, because I know your research has led you to help us to where we got the overcrowding that we're in. Maria?
Thank you, Judge. Again, my name is Maria Morris, and I'm with the Southern Poverty Law Center. And we are currently involved in a major lawsuit against the Department of Corrections regarding its health care, both medical care, mental health care, and also the rights of people with disabilities in the prison system. So looking at, we've heard a lot of things today about the various laws and the crime rate, the crimes that have led people into the prison system, but I'd like to put a little bit of context into what our prison system looks like compared to what's happening in other parts of the country. Alabama has the 4th highest incarceration rate of any state in the country. But we're not a particularly violent state. We run really right smack in the middle if you look at violent crimes, and we're in about the bottom third if you look at crime overall, and yet we've got the 4th highest incarceration rate. Those are policy choices that we've made, and that's a big part of why we're overcrowded. We incarcerate people for a very long time. When you look at the surrounding states, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Florida, when you look at states that are not that different from Alabama, you find that more than half of the people in their prisons are serving sentences of less than 10 years. You look at Alabama, and you've got 2/3 of the population serving sentences of more than 10 years. We are putting people in prison for a much longer time than other people, than other states that share similar politics to Alabama's politics. Another thing that, and in addition to that, 66% of the population being in for more than 10 years, 1/5 of our prison population is in for life without parole, or until they're executed. So that's a really big part of what is driving the population in our prison system. Another thing that I'd like to just mention, and I agree entirely with Mr. Morgan on this, we're not providing the services in the community or in prison that would really help bring down some of the people returning to prison. And I'd like to talk about one of our clients. He's a man, he's pretty severely developmentally disabled. I'm not sure exactly what's going on because, frankly, the prison system doesn't have great records on him. He's been in prison for almost 20 years. When he was 16, he and some other teenagers raped somebody. I believe he's the only one who went to prison. He's developmentally disabled. He's also schizophrenic. He went into prison when he was 16. I'm not sure how much the schizophrenia had come to the fore, because that's about the age where it starts for most people who have it. He's been in the, in a residential treatment unit at the Bullock facility since it opened in 2006. He gets a small amount of treatment. One of the allegations in our complaint is that he's not getting enough treatment. He's got no training. He's never held a job. He never had a driver's license. He can't read. He's never been paroled. His end of sentence is this November. He's getting out in November. He's got no chance when he comes out. What is he going to do? He's not going to be paroled because he's just getting to the end of his sentence. So there's not going to be any supervision. There's not going to be anybody there to provide him with services to help him not do something bad. And he's someone who needs that. And we as a society need that because none of us want, for ourselves or for him to do something bad and end up returning to prison. And yet, I have a really hard time seeing how it's not going to end up with something bad happening. But we haven't put the resources into supervision outside, training and assistance, and programs that could help him inside. And so we're setting ourselves up to send another person back to prison, and pretty much at this point, anything he does, he'll end up being back in prison for the rest of his life. And we'll be paying for him to be in prison for the rest of his life. And he'll be adding to the overcrowding for the rest of his life. We need to figure out a way to start providing services in the community, as well as in the prison systems. And that is actually all I'm going to say.
You'll have a chance. You'll have a chance.